Hi guys, my name is Christy, and today I want to talk to you about why you should get vaccinated. Now, despite crazy claims out there, vaccination is honestly a way that we can stay healthy and it's great for our society. There are so many diseases that have been eradicated by vaccines. So, if we continue to take our vaccines, we will at some point hopefully get rid of this disease completely. So I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago, it was even last year, this was a thing. People were going crazy over the whole measles outbreak. It was like the end of the world because of the measles, right? But there were 1,200 cases of measles, confirmed cases in the United States of measles. And when you hear that number, you think, oh, that's not a lot. But if you take into consideration that measles is something that has been basically wiped out through vaccines, then it becomes a lot. That was the highest number of cases we've had since 1992. So how do we end up with an outbreak in the United States of measles? And it's due to people not vaccinating. It is due to you, the person who doesn't want to vaccinate. That's how we end up with a measles outbreak in this country. And then you have to take into account that aside from people not vaccinating, there are also people who don't have vaccines accessible to them and they live out of the country and come here with their diseases. Now we catch this. So let's talk about why you need to vaccinate, what vaccinations you need, and what diseases vaccinations have completely eradicated. So these are the vaccines that you should have received already. So you should have gotten a Tdap, which is for pertussis, whooping cough, and tetanus. You should have gotten a measles, mumps, and rubella shot, which is the MMR. And you should have gotten a meningitis shot. You should have gotten a hepatitis A, B, and C vaccine because hepatitis is real. You should have gotten an HPV vaccine. You should have gotten a polio vaccine. You should have gotten a varicella vaccine, which is chickenpox. I don't know if you notice, people don't get chickenpox anymore. It's like not a thing. Just like smallpox has been completely eradicated. And if you don't know what smallpox is, it's the way colonists were taking out all the Native Americans. So all these diseases are slowly, little by little, becoming eradicated with vaccines. You don't worry about the Black Plague anymore. You barely worry about the flu because you're getting your flu shot every year. You're worrying less about tetanus. Before, it was like you had a scab on your foot, you had to be careful. You're not worrying about measles, mumps, and rubella, aside from if you are not vaccinated, then I guess you're worried about everything. So we're not worried about things we were worried about before. There are things you've never even heard of because of vaccines. Now, I have a question. How many of you know what polio is? That's right. None of you know what polio is. You know why you don't know what polio is? Because polio has been completely eradicated in the United States of America. Why, you ask? Oh, I don't know. A vaccine has eradicated polio from your lives. Did you know that at one point this was the scariest thing out there, that someone could get polio? Do you know what polio does to you? For those of you asking, what is polio, Christy? I want to know. I want to know why I don't have this. Well, basically, it was like this crippling disease. It'll give you paralysis. It was affecting people's nervous systems. And the craziest thing, this was transmitted through contact. Just touching a person will give you polio. So thank you, vaccines, that you don't have to have that anymore. Okay? Now, what do we have now? What is something that can affect us now? HPV. Have you ever heard of it? HPV can lead to cancer, but guess what? We have a vaccine for it right now that people are not taking. Mind you, there's like 70-year-olds and stuff trying to get this vaccine now because it causes cervical cancer, it causes anal cancer, it causes oral cancer. And do you know how you get this cancer? How do you get HPV? You get it through having sex. How many people have sex? Everyone. So without further ado, what is HPV? HPV is the human papilloma virus, and it's transmitted through sex. So basically, most people who are sexually active will get this virus. Now, it's not always going to lead to death. It's not always going to lead to cancer, but it has the potential to lead to cancer. Most people that have it don't even know they have it, but it's still something that's there. Like, why do you want to have this HPV is an STD, by the way, if I didn't mention it before. So why would you want to carry this STD, this HPV, if you can take a vaccine to eradicate said disease? 3 treatments, and they're like 6 months apart, each one. So get your HPV vaccine. Like, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for me to tell you to get your HPV? Go get it. Go get tested. So what I want to know is, if you've been blessed and highly favored to live in a time such as this, these modern times where these things are accessible to you, why wouldn't you take them? It makes 0 sense not to get vaccinated when you have the opportunity to get vaccinated. To refuse vaccinations at any point in your life, it's a crime to modern medicine. Because we have all these scientists developing all these vaccines. There are herpes vaccinations in the works. There are vaccines literally for everything. Once the coronavirus vaccine comes out, are you not going to take it? Are you going to risk getting corona just because you don't believe in vaccination? You are fortunate enough to have all these vaccines accessible to you. So please go and get vaccinated. It's extremely unfair for everyone around you.